Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be analyzing one of my own games, more specifically a build battle that I had with somebody, because I think it was a very good learning experience for me. I didn't play all that well, but nonetheless the fight was still really good, and I think that it really showed some of my falters that I have currently been working on, and if it was a good learning experience for me, I think it'd be very good for possibly somebody else out there. So first I'm going to show the game in my perspective, and then we'll go into replay mode and look at it from there. I'm not going to go over every single little thing, otherwise the video would be longer than it already is. So if you have questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoy. Don't need AR ammo, so I'm not even going to bother going for that. I think I just saw a person on the edge there. It's the jerk that took my kill. Oh, okay. GG, dude. So we're going to be taking this replay a little bit slowly because I've been having a hard time keeping up with this, keeping up with the speed of the gameplay while having commentary over it. So you guys did see it at full speed already, so we're going to be just taking a little bit of a slow down and, you know, pausing every now and again so that I can get my point across. So this is where I hear someone on the bottom of the hill. You're gonna see that I walk over to him, and right at this moment you can see that I have my heavy shotgun out, and you're gonna see it switch kind of fast, but I basically quickly ADS on him and try to get in as much burst damage as possible, and then I immediately switch to my SMG. I know this guy is going to turn around as soon as I start shooting. He's probably going to build. I fought him previously and he jump padded away, so I know he's a decent player, so I'm just going to get in as much burst damage as I can as possible. At this distance it's debatable whether or not you should be using a shotgun. It's not too far, but it's not too close to the point where it's like, yes, you should use a shotgun. But nonetheless, I get in a good 38 damage in on him, and then I immediately switch my SMG to continue pelting him and putting on pressure. Now, as soon as he starts building, I'm going to go for high ground right away. And one thing that I've been trying to implement into my gameplay is, it's not that I don't know how to do it, it's just that I've been having a hard time remembering to do it, is that I tend to find myself under enemies sometimes because they try to come and break my structure. And so I need to be putting a floor under my structure right here so that he isn't able to just break down the ramp and have me fall and then punish me that way. So I think that's something I need to do. As you can see, I do not have a floor under my ramp, and so if he decides to shoot under my ramp and make me fall, then I am pretty much boned. So that is one thing that I've been trying to implement, because I find that is a problem for me a lot of the time. People will just shoot under my ramp and then I will fall because I don't have a ramp. So now he's turtling. I'm just going to reload all my weapons really quick, and as he's turtling, you're going to notice I pull out my SMG, and this is just because the SMG is really good at breaking down structures. So I'm just going to continue pelting him and putting on pressure. Depending on whether or not he continues to turtle, I'm going to maybe try and go at a different angle, because if you keep doing the same thing over, then you know it's obviously not working, so you got to try something else. I don't go for the roof for the top usually, because they put pyramids and it's really hard to break through without any explosives. So usually when this happens, I will go from a different side. So maybe, you know, I'll come down here and attack from this side, and then maybe I'll pressure from this side a little bit, and then maybe you can get like a little bit creative and you can pressure from this side a little bit. Don't break the structure, pressure from this side a little bit, and then pressure from maybe like this side. And then, you know, if you notice that he's focusing on one side more than the other, you can break one and then break the other really quick and get some damage in on him. Or you have the other option of, let me just make this smaller really quick. You have the option of, you know, pressuring him this way and then putting your own wall. That is also an option. So I mean, like, there's a lot of things you can do, but you generally just want to put pressure on them in the beginning, and then you can decide where to go from there, because sometimes they'll build out and sometimes they'll continue turtling. As you can see, my opponent decided to choose the route of going out and trying to regain the high ground. And this is a very typical technique that you'll find, the double ramp. So you can see that he has one ramp here, and then one on the bottom. Generally, it's a little bit closer. So usually what it would be is you'll have a ramp here, and you have a ramp coming from here, and it'll be a lot tighter, but he just seemed to have screwed it up a little bit. But nonetheless, it's still the same thing, basically. So you're going to see that he's doing that. And I don't think enough people take enough advantage of when people do this, because a lot of the time people will be in a little box, and then they'll do their little double ramp thing, right? And what ends up happening, I'll still talk, but I'm just going to redraw it. What ends up happening is they do it for too long. So they'll do their double ramp thing like this. Each color will be a different stair. Sorry for the poor drawing. So this is 2 stairs that they're doing, and then 3 stairs. And what ends up happening is a lot of people don't take enough advantage of just breaking out, like break out one of the top stairs here and then break another one on the bottom here, and then they'll be forced to fall down. And then if you guys are very high up in the build battle, then you get a kill. I don't think enough people do that, and I don't think enough people really realize that not that the double ramping strategy is bad, but a lot of people don't take advantage of when people do it for too long. And some people are very good at recognizing that. When you're being pressured, when you're doing the double ramp rush, for example, it's best if you don't do it for too long, or if you come back to reinforce your structures as he's doing it, and when he's reloading, you can continue to proceed. So you're going to see here that I notice that he's doing that. I'm just going to shoot my SMG, and you're going to see exactly what I mean. He builds up, and he's just going to fall down again. I do make a little bit of a mistake trying to use my shotgun to punish him from this range, because I'm so accustomed to when people expose themselves, pull up my shotgun, but the shotgun is not very good at this range. You can see that I did, like 8 damage to him, which is pretty poor. Maybe I went back a little bit too much. Yeah, I do 8 damage. I don't know if I did 16 or 8. It shows 2 8s for some reason. So yeah, it's still not that much damage. So I could have pulled out my SMG and continue pelting him, or I could have pulled out my AR really quick. So he's going to keep continuing to build up. I'm too going to go and start building up closer to him. I have the high ground, so I have more opportunities to block him off and make it so that he can't achieve the high ground. One thing I could have done is I could have simply just like kept going upwards instead of going flat into him, basically. You can see that I'm building floors instead of building ramps. That's just something to think about. It isn't necessarily incorrect to do this, but it's just something to think about. So I'm going to move up a little bit. You can see that again, I am building above him. I am blocking him from achieving the high ground, and you can see here that once again, I do not build a floor under me, under my ramp. And it's not that I don't know how to do it, it's just that I am not doing it. And during this fight, I actually thought that my building needed work, but it's more the decision making that I am not doing so hot on. So you can see that this whole bottom part is completely open. So if he took the opportunity to shoot my structure from the bottom here, I would have fallen, and then he could have taken the high ground by building ramps this way, or maybe as I'm falling, because I don't notice for whatever reason, he could have maybe gotten a free shot on me or a free punish. So that is something that I also need to do. I mentioned that earlier, and you can clearly see that I am still not doing it. I didn't notice that this was as big of a problem in this battle specifically, but I do know that I do need to work on that. So let us continue. He did a very good job of protecting himself. You notice that he puts a ramp here right over his own ramp. And the reason that this is good is because if he decides to go on the top of his ramp, so right here, you can see that I have the option to edit my ramp up here and then jump down on him. If I edit down, he's probably going to be trying to build either this way, maybe he's going to come down this way or go up this way. but I'm going to have an opportunity to possibly punish him. So this was good that he put the ramp here instead of putting the ramp somewhere, or sorry, not the ramp. It's good that he positioned himself under the ramp rather than positioning himself on top. Otherwise, I would have been able to edit and punish him. Continue. You're going to see that he starts building up, and I'm going to continue to build up too. I did miss an opportunity to punish him here. You can see from the example that I was talking about before that he did the double ramping strategy, and that I could have easily pulled out my SMG and continued to pelt on him. So you're going to see here that he's starting to do it again, and I could have easily looked down from where I was positioned, looked down this way, pulled out my SMG, and just destroy these structures here, and that would have made him fall down even further. I would have had this huge high ground here, and he would have been down here, and that would be a very good high ground advantage. So I missed that opportunity. So I'm just building up, making sure he can't get the high ground. So this is all good. Here you can see that I have my shotgun out. This is a more ideal scenario to have a shotgun out. But one thing that this fight made me realize is that it's probably best that you pull your SMG or Tommy gun most of the time. And I'll explain why when we get to that part. But I pull out my shotgun here because he's completely exposed. So I'm going to try and get some damage in on him here by shooting him down here. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. He does a very good job of blocking himself here. I will replay that a little bit. Does a very good job of protecting himself when I go for the shot. I did shoot here, I believe. Some of the sounds and effects aren't really playing properly in the replay mode, but you would have seen it in the my point of view in the beginning of the video. So he starts pulling out the roofs and the floors to protect himself as I tried to punish him. So I pull my SMG to try and break it. Pretty standard. When my SMG is done shooting, I'm going to continue building up for high ground because the reload time on the Tommy gun and the SMG are quite long at 2 seconds. And so what you're going to see here is that I'm going to instead build up. Ooh, this is not a good angle. I should maintain this angle that I had here. I'm going to, instead of just reloading, I'm going to build up and make sure that he can't get the high ground on me since I don't have an opportunity to continue breaking his structure. You're going to see me continue to build here. And this is where the big mistake is. So if we rewind this a little bit, this is probably the biggest mistake that I made in the whole fight. And you're going to see that I'm going to try and build up. And notice how we're at this scenario that I've been talking about a little bit is the double ramping. And I wanted to pretty much just punish him here and make him fall. This is a good example of that. So if he continues to go too far, he's going to be right here. And unless he catches himself, he's going to be going all the way down, and that's a free kill for me. So one thing that makes me think that the SMGs are the more standard weapons to pull out, the better general weapon to pull out in a build battle. The SMG makes me think that that is a better weapon to pull out most of the time, because in a build battle, especially if you're up against someone that's good, they're much better at breaking structures. Shotguns are terrible at breaking structures. A shotgun shot will deal like pitiful damage to this structure here, whether it's wood, brick, or metal. And SMGs are just so much better at doing that. So you should pretty much, or in my opinion, I think that you should be pulling out your SMG more often than your shotgun. Pull out the shotgun when you're sure that you can get a shot off on somebody for that good burst damage. So you're going to see here that I pull out my shotgun, and this just slows me down so much. I'm going. I'm going to build up. And I pull out my shotgun here, and this just slows down my tempo so much because I could already be shooting him. I could already be pelting his structure, this structure right here, and then when that one's done, I can start pelting on this one, and then he'd fall. Maybe he'd catch himself right here. That gives me even a better high ground advantage, or he just doesn't catch himself and he falls to his doom. That is probably the biggest mistake because pulling out the shotgun, I shoot and then I have to switch to the other weapon and then start shooting, that's a lot of time wasted in a build battle. So you can see that I shoot here. I don't even break this ramp here because shotguns are really, really bad at breaking down structures. I pull my SMG and I start wrecking down his structure there, and I'm not actually able to break it. And one thing that caught my eye is that during this part in the fight, the SMG, the new submachine gun, is generally good at breaking about 2 structures, and then it has to reload, right? So you can see here 2 structures. That's perfect. That's a perfect scenario, Cheesy. Like, this is a really good, you can break through and then make him fall. But one thing that he does, which I don't think he did intentionally, is that you can see here that he actually starts building a wall right here, which I find kind of fascinating because I think that is what partially saved him here. Again, this also ties into me not pulling out the right weapon and reacting appropriately, but this wall here actually could have potentially saved him from falling because it blocks off enough bullets so that I can't break through this second structure here. I maybe could have, because I already did enough damage to it, but I didn't take the opportunity to do so because I was running out of bullets. So that could have potentially saved him. It felt like it was already taking too much time to break through the structures because by time I figured by time I already break it, he's already moving back in this direction. Sorry, he's already moving back in this direction. So it'd be very easy for him to catch himself because he's gonna be like maybe about here, for example. So even if he falls, he's gonna land like right here, which isn't too bad. But he can also just catch himself right here. And if I'm not able to break it, then he just keeps going for high ground and I'm just a sitting duck sitting here. So let us continue. Basically, pull out the right weapons, pull out your SMG more often than your shotguns if you're up against someone who really knows how to build and is always keeping themselves safe. Pull out the shotgun when you are sure that you can punish someone in a build battle. So I kind of screwed up. I could have potentially broke through it, but it wouldn't have been as advantageous as I wanted it to. And the second biggest mistake here is I should have just started ramping up, right? Start going for high ground immediately, putting walls in front of me, and then put a wall and a floor when I get on top of him. But instead what I do is I make the poor decision to just kind of like back up and start building walls for some reason. You can see here I start backing up, building walls, and then I go for high ground. And because of that time wasted of just backing up, not really doing anything, it allows him to get the high ground for free, essentially. So that was also really, really bad. Those are probably the 2 biggest mistakes throughout the build fight here. So one thing I should have done here also is you can see that now he has a free shot on me. One thing I could have done is I could have built a roof here to block him off from being able to see me, and then I could have started double ramp rushing. So I'd have a roof there, and then I could have started doing the same double ramp strategy away from him going in this direction. If he starts shooting my structure, then I reinforce it and I respect that he can shoot me down. If I don't, then I fall and die. So this is where the fight starts getting a little bit messy. So you can see here, he gets a punish in on me. I'm trying to protect myself while building up. This is where he edits down on me and we start actually like fighting each other. And the big mistake here for me is 2 things. When I see him edit down, I could put a wall here to protect myself. But the biggest thing was I didn't even really try to edit this. I put a floor above myself by accident. I didn't mean to do that on purpose, but I could have easily just edited the floor and opened up a little hole here and continued to go for high ground. And yeah, he may have gotten a shotgun shot off on me, but I would have had the high ground on him at that point. I would have done, 1 ramp and then 1 up here, which is already done, and then 1 up here and then 1 up here. I'd have only gone 2, do the rotation, and then start building up above him. So not much to really say here. It's just about aiming and shooting. At this point, I thought this was like a free-for-all type of thing where it's just like, all right, well, this is now or never. So I'm just going ham and just trying to shoot him. And luckily, I do get the kill on him here. But hopefully, you can see a lot of the mistakes that I made and potentially see some of the mistakes that he made. I think this fight was very, very good, and that there's quite a bit that you can learn from. The biggest things for me is being able to pull up the correct weapons and my building decisions. I definitely do have the mechanics in order to fulfill the things I was talking about. I didn't go too in depth about like the way that I was building, but for keeping everything simple, I should have just built a floor under some of my ramps, and I did not do that. That's a very big thing that I can get punished on, and I have gotten punished on it before, and I have mentioned that to myself a few times, but it's very clear that I have not clearly like fully implemented that into my gameplay, because I'm still not remembering to do it sometimes. So pulling out the right weapons, hopefully you can see how you can punish people with the double ramping that they do sometimes. And yeah, hopefully this analysis was helpful for you. If it was too hard to follow, then let me know in the comments down below. I think this could be very helpful for people. But yeah, this is pretty much it. If there's anything that you think I should go over that I didn't go over, I would love to hear it, because I don't know what people are necessarily looking for, but I just thought that this would be a helpful learning experience to watch someone analyze their own gameplay, because just going over the gameplay myself, I thought it was pretty helpful for me anyways. I analyzed it on stream a little bit, and I thought it was very helpful in that I was able to see things that I wouldn't have seen otherwise. Initially, I just thought that my building was poor, but watching it over, it wasn't as poor as I thought it was, and it's more about the decisions that I was making that caught me in bad positions more often than not. So hopefully this was helpful. Again, if you have any questions, whether you think they're newbie questions or you're just afraid to ask, just ask them anyways. I'll do my best to answer them. And if there's anything about the video, the way that I structured it, that is very poor, or something that you like, then also let me know, because I can make adjustments to this. And I think that it would make it easier for people to consume if I can better understand where it's easy and where it's hard to follow. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.